So in part C, we've got something a little bit different here. And what we have is a negative in this part. So we have to count the middle term as -5. The coefficient on the x is -5. So now we're looking for two numbers that have a sum of -5 and a product of +6. So let's go through. Now the product, we're not even going to consider the numbers, we're just going to look at the sign here. The product has to be positive. So we know that the numbers have to add to be negative. And so that means both of our numbers have to be negative, because the only way that you can have two numbers that multiply to be a positive and add up to be a negative is that if they're both negative. And if you go through a couple of examples, you'll realize this, because if you have one negative and one positive as our two numbers, then the product is going to be a negative, because remember, a negative times a positive is a negative. And we've here, so our two numbers have to be negative, because negative times negative is going to be positive, and a negative plus a negative is a negative solution. And so our sum has to be negative. So we'll once again start with our product, which has to be +6, and this time we're going to start with -1, because remember, our first number has to be negative, and -1 times -6 is equal to +6, but -1 plus -6 is -7. So our -1 and -6 is not the solution. Next, we'll move up for the next factor of 6, which is going to be -2. Well, -2 times -3 is equal to +6, and -2 plus -3 is -5. So our two numbers then that have a product of +6 and a sum of -5 are -2 and -3. So those are the two numbers that we're going to bring into our binomial, our brackets. So our solution then is going to be x minus 2 times x minus 3. And if you multiply out using FOIL, you can check your solution.